Hello, welcome back. So in the last previous video we left on this part. So we have talked about these folders, this panel that within the Android we know some of these basics files, and now we on this part here. So in case yours is not on this point, you can simply locate the XML file, the activity XML file. Simply go to your app, then you go to your resource folder, you go to your layout, and then you'll able to find it your XML here. And in the previous video we delete the hello statement within our design screen. Then I was talking about most of the users, or most of us, we may need to use drag and drop tool, whereby you drag elements or components within your design and then you position them accordingly. So you can use that, it's good, but sometimes also, as I said, it depends with your machine processing power. Sometimes when you have a lot of elements, this drag and drop may become, the machine may start to freeze or maybe delay. Dragging a component does not appear, like the machine is not capable of processing that process of you dropping, drop elements within. So when your application become more complex, this feature of drag and drop may become difficult for you. So sometimes it's good to also interact with the backend or the code side of it. So I will just show you one. At least you can go to this section here, has been written palette. If you don't see this part here, simply click this part here. This is the palette section, and this palette section, it has some all components that we need to design our interface. So for now we'll just return the text that was here earlier. So we'll simply go to your text. So go to text, then you need to select the text view. Then once you select that, you can drag it and drop it here. So you can see we have drag and drop it here, but right now you can see there is no text. And again, this layout that is being used in this design is a constraint layout, and a constraint layout, it need you to position your element. So you can do that by attaching or add a constraint to every part of your screen, so that you can position this element accordingly. So that's a constraint layout, and by done that, or by doing so, you can position your element anywhere you want within the screen. That is not an issue. So you can see, you can position here, we can put it here, we can drag at the center. So this is what we call drag and drop. The next thing, we simply need to select our text and go to our attributes at this part here at the right top, and you click on that part, make sure this is selected, and you navigate where you have written text. This is what we are looking for, and you can edit this and simply type your text here was hello world. You see, once you are done with that, you can hit enter and your text is modified. Now it's hello world. Okay, maybe you may need to increase the size, change the font. You can do it within the same. So as I said, this is a feature of drag and drop. You simply drag an element, you design it, you position, you do all the things you need to do, and you are good to go. So we can increase the text size. Come to text size here, and we can increase to maybe 24 or even 28 sp. You hit enter and you have increased your text size. Again, you may need to change color or make it bold. You can still go to text style and you can click to bold and your text to be bold, and more things like maybe your text color. You can come to text color, and if you want to change that color, you simply need to come to this part here. At the very corner, we have this small like an bubble, something like that. You simply click that, it opens this panel here, and if you need colors, simply go to color. And this is where I was saying, if you have all colors that you have to use on your project, you will need to create those colors within your values. So let me close this. So here you will define your colors. Let me say you have a colors, you have another color here. Let's define this color, copy and have a different color here. Copy that and So let's change our name, and let me give this a color green, and then let's change this color. Click on this color part here, and then let's select the color green, and then right there is cool. So save this color, and then let's back here to our main activity, and then you select that element, and then let's go back to where we want to enter our color. So you simply go to this part here, pick resources up, and this something like bubble here, you click on that, and you can see your color here. Now you can select your color and you can apply, and your text is now on a green color. So this is the part whereby most of the time you are using a drag and drop. Like you don't write any code, but for those who at least they are aware of, or they are maybe based in Android, most of the time we prefer to using the to write code, because it's more faster, it's easy to interact with, and also you may learn this logic very fast as compared with drag and drop, because most of the time you'll have to look for, maybe you want to change the text size, you will need to navigate all the time here and there to look for that element so that you can modify. So it's becoming quite challenging, and when also the application become bigger and bigger, interacting with this component will need a lot of time. You will need to look for elements just to do things and there. So that's what I was saying. So most of the time you will need to select an element, and then you position where you want to position it. Again, if you need another element, maybe you need another button, so you simply need go to buttons, and you select a button, you drag and drop that button somewhere there, and then you need to remove this bottom constraint, because we need to position this button based on our first element, hello. So we need to remove this element by this constraint by right click, and then you cut that one, and then now we need to position, it has not yet removed, so we need to remove this. You can remove by right click, or you can simply select this, you go to attributes, and within your attribute you simply need to remove here, you simply need to click this X, and that constraint has been removed. As you can see that we don't have the bottom constraint. Then you can position your button, and then you can give it a constraint, here, constraint bottom. Then you can position this at the center there, and then we can also have a constraint between our hello text and our button that way, and then we can drop this. So this constraint is very difficult for beginners and those who doesn't know all this behind all this. So we will need at least to start with a simple layout such as linear layout. Then on other series as we go on, we'll be able to know all these things. But for now, or for this series, or for this simple project, most of the time I'll be applying linear, but there is sometimes you may need this constant layout. But for now, I'm trying to show you how you can interact with this drag and drop feature that is inside Android Studio. So you see, now we have created our hello text, we have our button, we can extend this button by extending the width and other things. So most of the time you will need to interact with this attribute panel, but if you are using a code, it will be very easy, and I'm going to show you that. So for now, if you make sure you select the button, and then you need to increase the width, you come here to wrap content and you specify your width. For me, maybe I need a button with a width of, let's say, 200 BP, and you can hit enter. As you can see, we have increased our button length. And again, maybe we need to change our text, so you simply make sure it is selected and you go to text, and here we can pass our button, maybe call it logging or something like get started. You hit enter, and you can see here we have changed our button name and more other features. Maybe if you need to change color and everything, this is how you'll be interacting with this part. It's very user friendly, but at some point it may become difficult to use it, difficult to look for other components, difficult to look for basic features like even changing the name. You have to scroll up and down to look for it, all other things, changing ID of your button and other things. So I myself, I don't recommend this, but if you're comfortable with doing that, then you can go ahead and use this drag and drop feature in Android Studio. But for me, most of the time, okay, there's some in some point we may need to use that, but we'll not be so dependent on this part. Most of the time we'll try to write code on ourselves and we will achieve the same thing. So in the next video I'll be going to change all this layout. We'll be using a linear layout, and I will be using now, we'll try to code or come up with this code and design the same thing using the code side rather than now this drag and drop feature. So let's see you in the next video. Goodbye. Remember to subscribe, share, comment, share, and subscribe as well. See you in the next video. It's goodbye. Thanks for your times and God bless you.